The person you're in love with may not actually be in love with you. They might be in love with a version of themselves they see reflected in your eyes. Carl Jung believed every relationship you've ever had was shaped not just by your heart, but by the hidden forces inside your unconscious mind. What if I told you that the reason some couples stay deeply connected for decades and others fall apart in months comes down to 5 powerful psychological secrets? Secrets that, once you understand them, will make your bond almost impossible to break. Asterisk, whether you're single, dating, or have been married for years, these 5 Jungian love secrets can change everything. We'll go far deeper than the usual relationship tips, because this isn't about texting rules or how to make them jealous. This is about understanding the invisible patterns that decide who you fall for, why you stay, and why you sometimes push away the very person you love most. And here's the truth. Once you see these patterns, you can't unsee them. They'll change the way you love forever. So stay with me until the very end, because secret number 5 is the one most people never discover, and it's the reason so many relationships end in heartbreak, even when the love was real. Asterisk, let's begin with the first, and perhaps most powerful truth. A truth Jung believed was the foundation of every deep connection. It's the part of you that you try to hide, even from yourself. And yet, it's the very thing shaping the way you love. This is the shadow. Carl Jung believed that we all carry a side of ourselves that we keep hidden, not just from others, but from ourselves. He called it the shadow. The shadow is not necessarily evil or dangerous. It is simply the collection of traits, desires, and emotions that you've rejected because they don't match the image you want the world to see. But here's the twist. In relationships, your shadow will always find a way to show up whether you want it to or not. Asterisk, let's make this simple. Maybe you see yourself as a calm, loving person, but in an argument, you snap, raise your voice, and say things you regret. Or maybe you believe you're confident, but the moment your partner doesn't reply to your message, you feel anxious, insecure, and start imagining the worst. These are signs that parts of you are living in the dark. The shadow is like a hidden script that influences your reactions without your awareness. And when we don't recognize it, we end up blaming our partner for the feelings we haven't dealt with ourselves. Asterisk, imagine a man who tells a partner, "You're always so cold and distant." In his mind, he's the emotionally open one, the one who loves more. But deep down, he fears being vulnerable. He's the one pulling away when things get too close. He can't admit this to himself, so he projects that fear onto his partner. Or picture a woman who constantly says, "You only think about yourself." She believes she's selfless, always giving, always sacrificing. But deep down, she wants to be prioritized, to be loved first. Because she can't face this need, she blames her partner instead. This is how the shadow turns lovers into enemies. Asterisk, Jung's solution was simple, but not easy. You must bring your shadow into the light. That means owning your insecurities, your flaws, and even the parts of you that scare you. When you can look your partner in the eye and say, "I feel jealous sometimes, and I know that's mine to work on," you instantly remove the poison that turns love into resentment. Instead of hiding your shadow, you use it to create trust. Asterisk, think of it like this. The person who accepts their shadow no longer needs to hide, pretend, or attack. They can be fully themselves, and that freedom allows the other person to feel safe being themselves too. And in that space, love becomes unbreakable. But Jung discovered something even more fascinating. It's not just about accepting your hidden side. It's about balancing 2 powerful forces inside every man and woman. And when these 2 forces dance in harmony, attraction becomes effortless, and connection feels almost mystical. This is the dance of the anima and the animus. Secret number 2. Carl Jung believed that inside every man lives a hidden feminine energy, and inside every woman lives a hidden masculine energy. He called these inner forces the anima and the animus. The anima is the inner feminine within a man, his capacity for empathy, intuition, emotional depth, and receptivity. The animus is the inner masculine within a woman, her confidence, decisiveness, strength, and rationality. When these forces are out of balance, relationships become a constant struggle. But when they're in harmony, love feels magnetic, safe, and deeply fulfilling. Asterisk, here's the problem. Most people have no idea these forces exist inside them. A man who completely rejects his anima becomes emotionally closed, too rigid, or controlling, leaving his partner feeling unseen and unheard. A woman who completely rejects her animus might become overly passive, unable to set boundaries, and constantly dependent on her partner for direction. The result? One partner feels drained, the other feels trapped. Let's say there's a man named Ahmed. He's strong, ambitious, and protective, but he avoids emotional conversations. Whenever his partner Sanaa tries to share her feelings, he changes the subject or gives a quick solution, thinking he's helping. What he doesn't realize is that Sanaa doesn't always need a solution. Sometimes she needs him to feel with her. That's his anima calling out, the part of him that can sit in her emotions without trying to fix them. Now imagine Sanaa. She's kind, caring, and deeply emotional, but she never speaks up when something bothers her. She lets problems slide until she's quietly resentful. Her animus is asleep. The part of her that can stand firm, set healthy boundaries, and protect her own emotional space. Together, they love each other deeply, but without awakening these hidden energies, they keep hurting each other in small ways, every single day. Jung taught that love isn't just about finding the right person. It's about balancing your inner anima and animus so that you can be a whole person. When a man embraces his anima, he becomes more empathetic, nurturing, and emotionally intelligent, without losing his strength. When a woman embraces her animus, she becomes more confident, clear, and self-assured, without losing her softness. This balance creates a relationship where both partners feel safe to be fully themselves, strong and vulnerable, decisive and receptive. So here's a simple challenge for you. If you're a man, spend one day this week listening to your partner without offering a solution. Just feel with her and reflect her emotions back to her. If you're a woman, spend one day making clear decisions, even small ones, without asking for permission or reassurance. Notice how these small shifts begin to change the energy between you. But even with this inner balance, there's something else that can quietly destroy even the strongest bond. It's not your partner's fault. It's not your fault. It's a wound that was planted long before you even met. And unless you heal it, you'll keep reliving the same heartbreak again and again. This is the truth about attachment wounds. Secret number 3. Before you even met your partner, your brain had already decided how safe love feels to you. Carl Jung believed that our earliest relationships, usually with parents or caregivers, create deep emotional imprints inside the unconscious mind. These imprints shape the way we connect, trust, and react in love for the rest of our lives. In modern psychology, we call these attachment styles, but Jung understood them as patterns formed in the depths of the psyche, often rooted in childhood wounds. If you had caregivers who were loving, present, and consistent, you probably develop what's called secure attachment. Love feels safe, and you believe you're worthy of it. But if love in your childhood felt unpredictable, maybe sometimes warm, sometimes distant, you may have developed an anxious attachment. This means you crave closeness, but constantly fear losing it. And if love felt overwhelming, critical, or unsafe, you may have developed an avoidant attachment, pulling away emotionally to protect yourself. Let's take two people, Zara and Bilal. Zara grew up in a home where affection was rare. Now, as an adult, she values independence, but every time Bilal gets too close, she finds herself pulling away or changing the subject. She doesn't realize she's avoiding intimacy because it once felt unsafe. Bilal, on the other hand, grew up in a home where love was inconsistent. Sometimes his parents were present. Sometimes they were distracted or stressed. Now, when Zara pulls away, his mind panics. She doesn't love me anymore. He calls more, texts more, and becomes more anxious, which only makes Zara withdraw further. Without even realizing it, they are reliving their childhood patterns, on repeat. Jung believed the first step to breaking this cycle is awareness, to notice the pattern without judgment. The second step is to bring that wound into conscious dialogue. This means talking about your fears openly instead of acting them out unconsciously. For example, Bilal could say, "I get scared when you need space. It reminds me of when my parents weren't there for me. I know it's not your fault, but I want to work on it." And Zara could say, "I feel overwhelmed when things get intense. I'm learning that my need for space is rejection. It's me protecting myself. I want to feel safe enough to stay close." When partners can talk about their wounds instead of hiding them, the wounds begin to lose their power. Healing your attachment wounds doesn't mean your relationship will be perfect, but it means you'll stop fighting battles that started long before you met. And in that freedom, love finally has room to grow. But there's another force working behind the scenes, something Jung discovered that might explain why you're drawn to certain people over and over again, even when they're completely wrong for you. This is the mystery of the archetypes. Secret number 4, Carl Jung believed that deep inside our unconscious, we all carry archetypes, universal patterns, roles, and symbols that shape how we see ourselves and the kind of people we're drawn to. These archetypes are like ancient blueprints of human behavior. They don't just influence who you fall for, They decide why you fall for them. One of the most common is the lover, passionate, romantic, and emotionally intense. If you carry this archetype strongly, you may be drawn to partners who awaken deep emotions in you, even if they also bring chaos or instability. Because to the lover, love without passion doesn't feel real. Then there's the caregiver, nurturing, selfless, always putting others first. If you're the caregiver, you might find yourself attracted to partners who need saving, which can be beautiful, but also dangerous. Sometimes, the caregiver stays in toxic relationships far too long, mistaking self-sacrifice for love. Or maybe you carry the hero, drawn, protect, fix, and rescue. The hero often chooses partners who seem lost or in crisis because it gives them purpose. But the danger here is, if your whole identity is built on saving someone, what happens when they no longer need saving? Take Ali and Hina. Ali has a strong hero archetype. He's drawn to Hina because she's artistic, free-spirited, and a little unpredictable. He loves being her anchor. Hina, on the other hand, carries a lover archetype. She brings excitement, romance, and spontaneity into Ali's life. At first, it's magical. But over time, Ali feels exhausted from always being a stable one. And Hina feels trapped by his constant need to protect her. The very archetypes that brought them together are now pulling them apart. Jung's wisdom here is powerful. Don't reject your archetype. Learn to balance it. If you're the caregiver, practice receiving as much as you give. If you're the lover, learn to create stability alongside passion. If you're the hero, let your partner solve their own problems sometimes. Because when you integrate your archetype with its opposite, you stop being trapped by it and start choosing love consciously. But Jung's most important relationship lesson wasn't about the shadow, the anima, or even the archetypes. It was about one single truth: the reason some couples grow stronger through every storm, while others crumble at the first crack. This is a final and most life-changing secret, and it's all about individuation. Secret number 5. For Jung, the ultimate goal of life and of love was something he called individuation. It means becoming your truest self, not the person your parents wanted you to be, not the mask you wear to impress others, and not even the version of yourself you think your partner expects. Individuation is about integrating all parts of you, the light and the shadow, the anima and animus, the archetypes, into a whole, authentic self. Here's the paradox. The healthiest relationships are built between two whole people, not two as looking to complete each other, but two complete souls who choose to walk together. When you depend on your partner to fill your emptiness, you put an impossible weight on them. But when you bring a full, authentic self into the relationship, love becomes a choice, not a desperate need. Think of Fatima and Saad. When they first met, Fatima was shy, always adapting to what Saad wanted. Saad, in turn, made most of the decisions, thinking he was helping. Over time, Fatima began exploring her passions, her career, her friendships. She started making decisions for herself, not just for the relationship. At first, Saad felt threatened. Why is she changing? But soon, he realized she wasn't moving away from him. She was becoming more of herself. And as she grew, so did their love, because they were no longer clinging to each other out of fear. They were walking side by side, out of choice. Individuation isn't selfish. It's the most loving thing you can do for your partner. Because when you are whole, you give from abundance, not from emptiness. And when both partners are whole, the relationship becomes not a cage, but a garden. So here's my question to you. Which of Jung's 5 secrets do you need most in your love life right now? The shadow? The anima and animus? Healing attachment wounds? Balancing archetypes? Or individuation? Leave your answer in the comments. And let's start a conversation that could change the way you love forever. And if you found this valuable, make sure to subscribe and hit the bell icon. Because in the next video, we'll dive even deeper into psychology of love, and I'll share 3 powerful exercises that can instantly bring more trust and passion into your relationship. Remember, great love doesn't happen by accident. It's built by 2 people who are willing to grow together.